From Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast for women on leadership and life skills with Rhea Story. Rhea shares powerful life and leadership principles, helping you maximize your potential and become the woman God created you to be.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast designed to empower women to become the leaders they are destined to be. I am so excited about today's episode because I'm introducing a new series of what I call motivational planning journals. And there's a little bit of background behind that, so I'll share some of the background behind it. But really what this series of motivational planning journals is designed for is to help us be more intentional and more effective in our day-to-day living. So maybe you've had the pleasure in the past of just having one of those days where everything came together, a day where you felt fully alive and in alignment and just extremely effective. Everything got done with almost no effort. It was a day where you didn't forget anything or anyone that was important. You had maybe time to exercise and time to eat healthy. And at the end of the day, you were completely satisfied with how you spent your time and energy. And I've had days like that. And I've had days that didn't go like that, days where nothing got done. I did forget someone or something important, or wasn't where I was supposed to be, or where I felt I spent the whole day being busy, but not actually accomplishing anything. And I realized that the difference between those 2 days usually came down to very simple, intentional first few minutes of my day. Now, those awesome days where everything comes together like it should are possible, and they begin with intentional thinking. It never, if almost never, happens on accident, but when you start each day with a purposeful mindset, I've found that you will achieve your priorities based on your values. And just a few minutes of intentional thought every morning allows you to focus your energy, increase your influence with other people, and make your day just amazing and awesome and productive. So I like to think about this in terms of the 4 dimensions of our life. As humans, we have 4 dimensions of life. There's the physical dimension, which is our body and our physical environment. There's the mental or emotional dimension, which is our mindset and our thoughts. There's the spiritual dimension, which is where our values stem from, and our faith and our relationship with God. And then there's the relational dimension or the social dimension, and that's where we influence and are influenced by other people, both at home, at work, at church, and in the community. And each dimension needs nurturing, because if we fail to steward one dimension of life properly, we cannot help but become out of balance. And this leads to failures in first one dimension of life, which ultimately causes failures in the other dimensions of life. You know, the example comes to mind of a busy executive who never has time to exercise. And he or she may be very successful at work, which is one part of that relational dimension of life. But he or she works himself into a heart attack, which is the physical dimension of life. And then recovering from the heart attack, he realizes his marriage is crumbling because he's never home. And then distracted by a really tough divorce, he loses focus on his job and he misses a very important deadline for a client. And then one day he suddenly realizes his health is bad, his job is at risk, his marriage is gone, and he experiences a spiritual crisis of faith. And he sits down one day and he just says, "Why me, Lord?" And he asks God, blaming God really for the consequences of some of his choices. And I think we all kind of go through a cycle sometimes like that, where we make some choices, good or bad, and then we have to, live with the consequences of those choices. Now, certainly, we don't cause all of problems in our life. Absolutely not. Bad things happen. Life is hard. There are going to be challenges in life, but we do create many of our problems, just like we can create the solutions to them. Because every single day we make hundreds or thousands of choices, and some of those seem like they're insignificant choices. But those choices cumulatively create our future, and I've talked about that a lot on this podcast. We make our choices, and then our choices make us. We can choose our thoughts, mindset, our attitude, values, and our actions, but we cannot outrun the consequences of those choices, either positive or negative. It's just simply how life works. Good choices lead to improved circumstances, increased influence with other people, more options, more opportunities, and better results. And poor choices lead to bad ones. Now, good choices begin with intentional thought, core values, and the discipline, that's the big one, the discipline to stay true to them. And you may not always get it right, even if you try, but if you never try, you're never going to get it right. I love the quote by Hal Elrod that says, "The degree to which we accept responsibility for everything in our life is precisely the degree of personal power you have to change or create anything in your life." So I really like that when we start realizing that an intentional mindset in the first few minutes of our day really helps us make better choices and stay more in alignment with our values. I certainly throughout my life and my career, I've had big dreams and even bigger goals. And I realized at some point that being highly effective in life didn't happen by accident. I've juggled many hats over the years, working multiple jobs and going to school and balancing being a wife and a stepmom and school lunches and brownies for the PTA and then still trying to stay healthy and exercise all at the same time. And I realized how much better my days and weeks and months were when I lived them on purpose with intention. So I started searching for a tool that would help me do that would help me live with just more intention in my life, with my principles. And I needed something that would help me balance and be more effective in every dimension of life. And I had in mind a planner or a daily journal, something that's easy to use and simple to understand, but something that didn't take too much time. Because I can tell you over and over, I've heard how powerful it is to journal every single day. Sit down and spend 30 minutes journaling. And that sounds amazing. And I absolutely know it's beneficial. But there are days that I don't have 30 minutes to sit down and journal. And so typically what happens is I buy a journal, and then the first couple of days I'm super, super dedicated. And then something happens and maybe I didn't even get enough sleep the night before. And I'm like, 30 minutes out of my morning, I got to choose something else. And, I wanted a place for daily encouragement or a quote or something, and a reminder to practice gratitude, because I've talked about that before, how practicing gratitude is so important to everything from our mindset to our physical health. And I needed something to help me be accountable to my priorities throughout the day. And so I was searching for this tool that would help me do all of this, and I just couldn't find one. I've bought endless journals over the years. I've bought any number of calendars and planners and wall planners and desk organizers and daily timers. And honestly, I've got about 5 calendars, Google calendars on my iPhone, including 2 personal ones, 2 for business, and one that's just Mac's calendar. But I love being able to add things to his calendar whenever we have something coming up. But at some point I just gave up on finding the right tool that would help me live my life with more intention, live my day with more intention. And so a while back, I started just a Word document that had an outline that helped me do all of the things that I was looking for in a journal or daily planner. And that's kind of how the idea for a motivational planning journal series was born. And I'm pretty sure that I made the term up because apparently, since what I was looking for didn't really exist, what to call it doesn't really exist either. And so I came up with the idea for this series, and it's really been on my heart and mind since January of this year to actually create it. And for one reason or another, and just other priorities have taken more priority, if that makes sense, up until now. And so it was finally just about 3 weeks ago, I actually sat down and said, I'm ready to make this a reality. And this is the kind of thing that gets me so excited, because I think many of us think that achieving our biggest goals or living our best life, those things sound inspirational, but execution is where the power is when it comes to living our best life. But most of us struggle with the execution. Most of us don't struggle with the dreaming up of big goals or the dreaming of having a wonderful, smooth life with everything's in balance. But most of us struggle in one or more dimensions of life with actually implementing those things. And so, like many things in life, I think simple comes down to being more powerful a lot of the time. And so that's why I get so excited about this, because I'm one of those people that really, I'm a planner, I'm an organizer, I'm a doer. But there again, what I found was that the more intentional I could be, and if I could create the habit of being intentional, everything else just sort of fell into place. In life, our habits either serve us or they enslave us. And I realized that creating a habit of intentional thinking early in my day helped me be so much more effective and successful throughout my day. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, I don't really have time in the morning, or I've got too much to do. And I'll tell you this, it's kind of a moment of truth, but we make time for what's important to us. Now, there might be some days, we all have some days like that, where everything just is so rushed that you don't have time to sit down for 5 minutes and be intentional. But the majority of your mornings, I guarantee you could make it happen. 5 minutes. You could spend 5 minutes investing into yourself and your day to be successful. I know you could. Now, you might have to get up a little earlier. You might have to quit hitting the snooze button, or you might have to hide in the closet from your kids and hide in there with a flashlight if all else fails. But whatever it takes, a few minutes is not too much to commit if you want to make your day amazing and awesome and productive. So just make the commitment. So I've got in mind a series of 6 of these motivational planning journals, and it's something very simple, 5 minutes in the morning, something you can carry with you throughout the day to remind you of your priorities, to help encourage you when you feel tempted to get off track. And, your excuses don't serve your dreams. That's what it comes down to. So I tell people, I'm like, just set up time in your day and own it, make a commitment to yourself, and then do it. And if you can do that over, my plan is to have every journal in the series have 60 days worth of pages for journaling. And each journal has sort of different quotes and a different theme, really, to kind of appeal to different seasons of life. So you might want to choose a theme of resilience. If you're going through a tough time in life, you might want to choose a theme of productivity if you're challenged with a big project, or maybe just choose a theme of motivation if you're feeling down. So if you use your planning journal every day, it's going to help you harness the power of living on purpose and the power of affirmation, and that allows us to achieve more of what's truly important. And that's what it comes down to. So each journal is going to have 60 days worth of pages, and each page or each day will have an inspirational quote. It's going to have a place to write what you're grateful for, just a simple place that you can practice gratitude. Room to write a healthy commitment for the day. Room to write one act of kindness or one action that will help increase your influence with someone. It'll have a place list for your top 3 priorities of the day, and then just a little bit of room to journal any thoughts or reflections if you want to. And so I'm super excited about this series. You can go to my website to get more information as if you're interested and you're looking for, like I was, looking for a tool that would make life more effective and more efficient and more awesome. The title of the first journal in the series is Make Today Ridiculously Awesome, because why couldn't we have ridiculously awesome days? Why shouldn't we? We should have ridiculously awesome days and powerfully productive days, which is the next one in the series. And then, boldly significant days where we make an impact and make a difference in the lives of others. So you get the thought here. Every journal has kind of a different theme and a different twist, but but a very similar layout that helps you be very effective throughout your day. So you can go to my website if that interests you to find out details and more information. You visit riastory.com/journals. And that's journals with an S. So riastory.com/journals. And there you can find all the details and all the information. So there again, my intent is when I find an area in my life where I have a need, I think about, you know what, there are probably other people who need a tool like this too. And I like to be a river. You know, once I learn something or find something or figure out something, I want to pass that on because I'm in the business of adding value to people, right? That's what I love to do. That's what I get up every morning and love to do. So I'm super excited about this project. Feel free to reach out if you have thoughts or ideas or even quotes for future journals. You know, I've got the first 6 in the series pretty well laid out. So, you know, those are coming out and available. But you know, if you think of a different theme that you'd love to see, feel free to reach out to me and, you know, suggest it. I'm always open to that. If you have a need or see a need, there are probably other people who do as well. So anyway, I'm super excited about this, and I'd love to hear your feedback. If you go through one of these motivational journals and you find that it really does help you be more effective like it helps me, let me know. I'd love to hear your testimonies, or of course you can always leave those on Amazon, but I'd love to reach out and hear from you. So until next time.
Start increasing your influence and maximizing your potential with Ria's audiobooks. Available at audible.com, amazon.com, and iBooks. Please visit riastory.com to learn about Ria's books, resources, speaking, and training programs. Thanks for listening.